present to you the one and only Brian Lara, a hero, a magician, an entertainer, a match winner, a savior, a leader. Brian Charles Lara, like a masterful actor, slipped in and out of several roles with effortless ease. First things first, he will forever be remembered as one of the greatest batsmen of the modern era. His wizardry and sheer style would trump any batsman. Brian Lara inspired his troops to the ICC Champions Trophy titled Victory in 2004 in Old Blighty, which remains the highlight of his captaincy. He hung up his wonderfully worn international boots following the 2007 World Cup, where host West Indies progressed the Super Heights round. He is the only batsman in the history of international Test cricket to have scored 400 plus runs in an innings. Mr. Lara also held for 18 years the record of scoring the highest number of runs in a single over of a Test match. Please put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen, with a thunderous round of applause. Please welcome on stage Brian Charles Lara. We have a special felicitation, and I'd like to request Mr. Anil Valluri, MD and Vice President of Palo Alto Networks, to kindly come forward and present a memento to Brian Charles Lara. Keep those applauses coming, ladies and gentlemen. This is the moment that we've all been waiting for. Thank you so much for being here with us. Ms. Lara, thank you so much. We request you to take a seat, sir. Yes? And we would now like to call the moderator for this session, Ridhima Pathak. She's a TV presenter and host who is well known for presenting various sports events. And as she was coming in, I quickly caught sight of her. She's beautiful, she's gorgeous. She has interviewed renowned personalities like Virat Kohli, MS Dhoni, Shah Rukh Khan, Devendra Fadnavis, among others. In 2019, she was appointed as the broadcaster of the international T20 match between India and Australia. May I request the gorgeous Ridhima Pathak to kindly come on stage, please, and a round of applause for her as well. Thank you, and I will now hand over the session to you, the gorgeous ma'am.
Thank you so much. Thanks a lot. Well, a very good afternoon to one and all present here. Thank you so much for having us, and more importantly, Brian Lara, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry? Okay. So I would just like to say that it's an absolute honor and privilege to be amongst all of you. A big thank you to ABP for inviting us, and really looking forward to this session. It's my lucky day, is because I'm meeting the man twice in 2 weeks. Are we all settled? Super. How have you been, Brian?
I've been good, and it's always great to be in India. I've been here for the last couple of weeks. I visited Sri Lanka and Dubai, and I see India as a second home for me. So in my element, I'm happy that India has increased its golf courses so I can play the sport that I love playing now. So yeah, thank you. And to be back in Kolkata again, a wonderful place, home of my very good friend Saurabh Ganguly and others. Thank you, and I look forward to this evening.
Well, we're so looking forward to this, and let's just address the elephant in the room, because everybody here has one question, so I'm going to just start with that. Did you see the finals of the ICC Men's Cricket World Cup?
Of course I did. What was it? Must have been 4 o'clock in the morning in Trinidad and Tobago. And every time India played a game, especially after they were certain of qualifying, I was looking forward, sorry to say, I was looking forward to an Indian defeat. I wanted India to lose a game just to understand what it might mean, to go and win the finals. It's always a very uneasy thing when a team is playing so good, 100% record, coming up against a team like Australia. As you guys know, they know how to win a World Cup. And I was hoping that India could just falter once, and so they can do, whatever preparation that they needed to for the finals. I don't know if you know, but I'm almost sure there's a lot of historians in the room, but in Trinidad and Tobago, our largest population is Indian. And the likes of Shah Rukh Khan, Virat Kohli, MS Dhoni, of course, Sachin Tendulkar, all these guys are heroes back in Trinidad and Tobago. So India, outside of the West Indies, is the favorites when it comes to us in Trinidad and Tobago. So I was very disappointed with the result, but I think that the players can hold their heads high because it was a performance worthy of the trophy, definitely. And these things happen in sports. Sometimes you do your best and you've created everything to win something, and you have to walk away shaking the hands of the winners. That's what the Indians did very sincerely with the Australians. But there is a tournament in about 7 months' time, and I can promise you I would not be supporting India. I'll be supporting the West Indies.
Well, now that's out of the way. But did you like the brand of cricket that India played throughout the ODI World Cup?
Yeah, most definitely. India is one of those teams that you fall in love with. The players that they have, tremendous players, great spirit. It's so wonderful to see how Virat Kohli played the World Cup. This is someone who, stepped aside as a captain of a team, and it's a very difficult thing to do. I had that experience as well. When you try your best as a captain, and you sort of step back, and now you have to carry the mantle just as a batsman. And I'm very proud to see the way how he conducted himself throughout the World Cup. And he's such a shining example, not just from his feats on the cricket field, but obviously the way how we go about life, the way how we go about doing what he does. And it's tremendous to see. India is playing a wonderful brand of cricket, and I'm hoping that they can continue doing so in all formats of the game. They've been to a couple ICC Champions Test Series, which they've come out second, but hopefully one day they can win that as well.
All right, fingers crossed. All right, we all know Brian Lara on the field, but this is an opportunity to get to know him off the field. So I'm going to do my best. So I'm going to start from the top. What is childhood like for you? How did cricket happen?
Childhood, 11 kids, 2 parents in a 3-bedroom house. I remember my big sister demanding a room, and my parents, of course, had the others. So it was 10 of us in a bedroom. And let me tell you something, that was amazing. Having so much siblings to grow up with. My brothers eventually, converted the garage into an extra bedroom, so we had a bit of a relief in the main bedroom. It's no longer 10, it's now 8. But really and truly, growing up in Santa Cruz, which is exactly 1 or 2 streets away from Dwayne Bravo and Darren Bravo, is just amazing. And having bigger brothers, because I was like number 10, and being number 10 in a cricket team of 11 players, I had to bat at number 10. At least growing up, so my sisters batted before me. But it was just an amazing feeling, and a lot of my brothers were very, very jealous because they felt that Dad really and truly put a bigger effort into me than he did into them. But I have an answer for it. They just weren't good enough. And my dad was able to, later on in life, to sort of provide and get one last effort to get one of his sons playing cricket internationally, and I was happy to oblige.
So when did you realize that you were bloody good?
You know what? You never actually realize that, that you Very good. I mean, obviously, as a youngster growing up, you would have parents watching this, aunties but also watching you, and you would hear the little gossip behind the nets, about this young player. And back in those days, you more felt that satisfaction that when you see your dad and you know that he's proud of you, you sort of feel that you're achieving something. But in the back of your mind, I mean, now it's obviously the digital world, you can see what's going on, but my main aim was just to enjoy cricket, love the game. I, of course, listened to a lot of cricket, we didn't have it on television, but I knew that I had something in me because every year I had that encouragement to go on because you're either the top batsman in the team or you scored the most runs in the team. And I had that sort of impetus to keep going. And I think when I realized that I wasn't good enough, that's a better question, is when I came up against other players from the West Indies. We were playing under 19 cricket. And I saw one Carl Hooper and I thought, wow, this guy is just amazing. And I want to be like him one day. And of course I saw the Viv Richards and these guys later on. But I think I worked pretty hard towards getting to a level where I could sort of tell myself, you could be the best in the world.
Wow. You spoke about the man Viv Richards. Your first day when you got inducted in West Indies cricket, you had a date with Viv Richards. What was it like?
I don't know. Viv Richards, as you guys know, he has that borderline arrogance about him. And obviously, as a 19-year-old getting into the West Indies team, Viv Richards was the captain of the team. And I think immediately he put me in my place. I remember the first game we were playing against India. And the first game I was selected, it was actually in Trinidad and Tobago, and that's where I'm from. And I put my bag in the dressing room where I sat for the last 2 seasons as a first-class cricketer. And eventually that bag came flying out of the dressing room, and only to realize that where I sat for Trinidad and Tobago is where Viv Richards sat for the West Indies. So immediately I realized that, okay, where I was in the pecking order. I spent the first 5 days of my international career in the bathroom, in and out, getting guys stuff.
Well, as a 19-year-old, what kind of mark did that leave on you?
Well, I was somebody who, had a dream to play for the West Indies. And it doesn't matter what sort of situation. I mean, the tougher you made it for me, the tougher I got, the more I learned. So getting into that, being initiated into that West Indies team, doesn't matter if it was positive or negative, it was always a learning experience for me. I knew that this was my dream and nobody could sort of sway me off of my dream playing for the West Indies. So it was tough growing up, spending a couple of years in the West Indies team, carrying the towel, carrying the water and not playing. But those were so important. That apprenticeship period was so important. It taught me a lot. And it's definitely toughened me up for better things in the future.
Right. Well, 80s and early 90s, an era of Brian Lara and a certain man called Sachin Tendulkar. Your first impression when you met him?
My first impression before I met him, reading on the newspapers, is how could a 16-year-old play Test cricket? Because I remember when I was 16, I could hardly get the ball to the boundary. And I was always amazed by the ascendancy of Sachin, because being 16, we were around the same time. I would have been 19, getting into the West Indies team. Sachin Tendulkar was this prodigy from India. And we sort of simultaneously, carried our career forward, and there was that comparison between us. And, but that quickly went out the window because our friendship transcended that boundary, and we were more, laughing at suggestions of who was better, who was not better. And I think still today, our friendship is just amazing. I met him first in Australia. We were playing in that World Series before the 1992 World Cup. And it's just amazing to see someone so young, and the way how mature he was as a cricketer at such a tender age.
Right, so you read about him and then there was a comparison. But was there a moment when you saw him live and that thought came to you that, yes, he is quite the genius?
Well, yeah, of course. Well, I knew he was a genius because, as I said, being 16, 17 and playing international cricket is something that, I couldn't fathom. I couldn't understand how that was possible. So I knew that this young man was something very, very special, and we were just growing into the space that was left by great players. So that silent competition was there. But one time I played with Sachin, and that was after the 1992 World Cup. We played in the Sky Dome, which I think is now called the Rogers Center. And we played in something